Hi, my name is Katia Castellanos, and as usual, I would love to welcome you to the Random Format Show, the place where we speak about the local artists, introduce you to the faces of film, art, and music industry, and overall culture of San Antonio. Today, we have a special edition of our show, which is specifically dedicated to the coronavirus impact on our industry. And I would love to introduce you to Antonia Padilla, our guest.
Good afternoon.
Very nice to have you here, Antonia. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm quite happy.
And not only Antonia is our guest, she is actually a part of the Lone Star Art District. The space where we're shooting right now is Lone Star Art Space. I would love for you, Antonia, to tell us a little bit more about.
Certainly. So the Lone Star Art Space is run by Jesus Toro Martinez, and there are three other artists that have space here. I'm one of them, Ilno Komiri and Mary Frances, whose last name I just can't remember at the moment, but we're quite fortunate to be here. We're in a space owned by a internationally known light artist, Bill Fitzgibbons. Bill has illuminated buildings around the world, in Russia as well, and plenty of places in Europe, in Australia, in Japan, across Europe, and as well in the United States. He's actually got a couple of buildings downtown that he's lit up, and you can see him. There's the hospital that's right next to 35 that has the colored lights around the top. There's another building that he has also illuminated, and that's what he does. So he's been doing his work for many, many years. There is another building owned by Andy Benavides. His building houses about 10 artists, and across the street there's a completely different studio, and they've got probably about 15 artists as well. So the Lone Star District is starting to make a name for itself. We are right next to the Blue Star, so we're kind of in competition with each other, but you know, they're bigger, they've been around much longer. We're basically the new kids on the block, but we're trying.
But you're making an impact, like you said, Antonia. I was mesmerized the first time that I got to this space, and I think all of you guys should come and visit this amazing area when you get a chance. Not only are you gonna see an amazing, very raw art, you would be able to meet the artists, you would be able to know about the upcoming exhibitions, and also the chances on supporting the local art industry. So Antonia, what time are you guys open? At what time the people can come and visit you?
Sure. I'm here pretty much every day. We're located at 107 Lone Star Boulevard, and I'm here basically from 10 in the morning to roughly 6, 7 o'clock at night. I studio here. I have a complete dark room. I specialize in black and white film. I do color digital as well. However, film is really where my heart's at.
This is your thing.
Yes.
Well, Antonia, I really do appreciate for you to invite us over and having this very special season of the Random Format Show filmed at this amazing area. I would like to tell our people about you and what you do as far as the artist and the photographer.
Sure.
So for anybody who doesn't know about Antonia Padilla, Antonia actually has been taking photos since 1968, and she's a former magazine and newspaper photographer.
That's correct, yes. And it pleases me greatly to say that I've been published around the world and across the country. numerous magazines, newspapers,
Mm-hmm.
and now, of course, on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very, very fortunate to have, had a lengthy news and magazine career.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm retired, because I'm in my 60s,
Mm-hmm.
I have I've pretty much given up the newspaper work and the magazine work, although I will still do it. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm quite content to be here in the studio uh, doing fine art photography in black and white, shot on film,
Mm-hmm.
where I develop and print in my darkroom, and that really is the one thing that I enjoy. It brings me great peace, um, and I love doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's sustainable. So that makes me happy as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, it makes us happy to have an amazing artist like
Well,
yourself.
thank you, Katya.
Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit more about how it all started for you.
I was quite young. I was I was a child, really. My parents decided that uh, they wanted to occupy me as a child because I was quite mischievous,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was given a camera, a Polaroid camera, for Christmas, 1968, many, many years ago, and that that just my
Mm-hmm.
little imagination just went wild.
That opened an entire new world for
It
you.
did, yeah. And then I started buying, I worked summer jobs and I would buy little Instamatic cameras and other Polaroid
Mm-hmm.
cameras. Um, I got my first 35 when I was in high school. I worked a summer job and I bought a Canon TLB for $265. I still remember how much it was because
Mm-hmm.
I was like saving up. I was like saving my money, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I was so excited when I got it. And I learned to process film. I learned to print. I've done that all my life.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to school, I was a journalism major,
Mm-hmm.
and
And that's what brought you into the newspapers and the
correct.
magazines.
Yes, yes,
Tell
yes.
us a little bit more about the newspapers that you work for.
Okay, sure. So I was on staff. I was a staff photographer
Mm-hmm.
at the Brownsville Herald,
Mm-hmm.
which is in the Rio Grande Valley of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I was there from 1985 to 2000. I covered numerous events in Mexico, in South Texas. Uh, I have seen things that I never thought I would see. Um, I've met so many incredible people. I've met so many um, less than desirable people,
Mm-hmm.
shall we say. Uh, I've I've photographed Mexican drug lords. I've photographed movie
Mm-hmm.
stars. I've photographed. I mean, you name it. I've shot it. And after I came home in 2000, I went to work for the local paper, the San Antonio Express News.
Mm-hmm.
I did magazine work. I worked for several different publications, which was quite interesting. It was very different from newspaper work because newspaper work is very, well,
Mm-hmm.
it's news, and the
Mm-hmm.
magazine work, I shot a lot of fashion.
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of social
It has
events.
more mood to it. It's not just a dry facts.
Right, right,
It's
right.
it's more of a,
Well,
a
the
moody
good
content.
thing is magazine work, they really want you to be the creative. They
Mm-hmm.
want you to produce. They want to see what comes from you.
Yeah, the art, the art.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was very exciting because that allowed me a lot of growth
Mm-hmm.
that newspapers didn't provide because, you go somewhere, there's something happening and you photograph that and then you're done.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're shooting fashion, when you're shooting food, when you're doing these interviews with some of San Antonio's richest people,
It's completely
it's
different.
completely
Mm-hmm.
different. I have been in homes, Katya, that you would think were in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
mean,
what helped you to adapt to those different situations? Because as a journalist, as a photographer
yeah.
who is affiliated with newspapers and magazines, you get a whole different variety. You see the world
Hmm.
from all different sides and
Right.
perspectives.
And
How can you be ready for that?
well, see, that's the good thing is
Mm-hmm.
because when you shoot news, you never know what's going to happen. You have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Every day you go to work and it's something different. So when I started doing magazine work, um, it was it was quite easy actually
Mm-hmm.
for me to go to places, to meet people, to interact
Mm-hmm.
with some of San Antonio's richest people, really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they thought they thought it was a hoot. They're like, oh yeah, look at this little
Yeah.
Mexican person here with a camera, and here they're in my,
Mm-hmm.
multi-million-dollar home, and they're just like
Mm-hmm.
not even scared.
But we are all experiencing life in a different manners, I think.
Hmm. Hmm.
It all varies from person to person. And the key for that is to be open to something
Oh
new,
yeah,
to be
yeah, yeah.
receptive. And you can
Yes,
open so many different things. You can discover such amazing aspects of this world. I have a question for you,
sure.
Antonia. For you being in the magazines and newspapers and experiencing it from the inside
Hmm.
with the current situation with the coronavirus. How do you think the media answer is? Do you think that the newspapers and magazines they've done a good enough job highlighting it? Because they are such a powerful tool. If you think
Sure,
about it,
absolutely.
the people listen to it, the people see it, and they have the opportunity to inspire. They have the opportunity to put people in shock,
Hmm.
in horror. Do you think they really pursued what they needed to as far
Hmm.
as a tool?
Well, mostly, if we're talking about news,
Mm-hmm.
then that is basically just the facts. If we're talking about entertainment
Mm-hmm.
shows, their take is very different from the news take. So that's I mean they're two completely different
Mm-hmm.
worlds.
Let's
Uh,
talk about news first.
mhm.
Would you think that the news industry catastrophized coronavirus in a way?
um,
Do you
I
think they
would
could have pursued it a little bit differently, the way that they spoke about it?
honestly, Katya, I haven't really been paying attention.
Hmm.
That's not what you're looking for, I know, but
Well, the statistics say that's a very interesting numbers that only 37% of the people were
mm,
satisfied with the media response in
mm,
general.
okay, I can see that.
Although a lot of people, again, according to statistics, they've been watching the news more often.
Mm,
They've been doing the on-demand shows more often. Those numbers have grown, but surprisingly, only 37%
mm.
of the people really enjoyed it.
Sure. And I think you've touched upon a very important point
Hmm.
because I think there's a growing dissatisfaction with the media in general.
Hmm.
I think a lot of people perceive the media to be to blow things out of proportion.
Hmm.
Um, just like
Do you think it's justified?
no, I don't. Well, I think yeah, for people to have that
Hmm.
opinion, yes, I do believe that. Um, I think the news media, um, a lot of people just really don't understand
Hmm.
where they're coming from.
Hmm.
Um,
What can the media do differently in order to gain trust of the public, of their viewers? What do you
just
think?
be more factual,
Hmm.
less entertainment, uh, more facts.
Hmm.
I think that would be very helpful. That's something that people really want. They want to
Hmm.
know. They want to know the truth, basically.
Exactly. Exactly.
They don't want to be lied to. They don't want to have. They don't want to be told stories.
Hmm.
Nobody wants that. They want to know how this is going to affect their life, how it's going to affect their job, their family,
Hmm.
their day-to-day life. So that's really
So
what
you think
people are
the
looking
focus
for.
of the media can be a little bit different in that perspective?
I think if they wanted to, they could. I think the media is a big, giant machine
Hmm.
that has trouble seeing outside itself.
True,
So
true.
that's
And I feel like a lot of people rely on it's like an advice. It's like a big brother that they
hmm
look to and they
sure.
believe.
Yeah.
To my opinion, it's just my subjective opinion.
hmm
People need to start thinking for themselves
Ha!
and believing
Yes.
themselves first.
Uh-huh.
And whenever they hear the facts, they need to doubt it first before
Right.
they make any decisions. That way, all the panic can be avoided because
Right.
the whole coronavirus outbreak, it caused so much panic. And I think that is the worst thing that have happened during the pandemic itself. If the people were more educated, if the strategy of the media was a little bit different,
hmm
then there could have been a lot more of a positive impact.
Sure.
But yeah,
I'm in
well,
total agreement with that.
so let's talk about you right now because we're talking
Okay.
about this global
All
issue.
right. What
And
do
I
you what
mean,
would you like to know?
I would like to know how the outbreak of COVID-19 personally affected you and your business.
I have been here in the studio all by myself since what, April?
Mm-hmm.
Um, we do a thing called Second Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
We open the studio up. All the studios in the district open up
Mm-hmm.
for Second Saturday.
That's good for our viewers to know.
hmm
So every second Saturday, they can
Right.
actually come to the Lone Star Art District and
Yes.
be able to see amazing spaces like this one, the
hmm
galleries, and the artists.
That's correct.
Antonia, when do you think this amazing tradition is going to be reopened again?
Hopefully, June the 27th.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that's tentative at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how many people we're going to have,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but we hope to get back to our regular
Mm-hmm.
second
Routine.
Saturday in
Mm-hmm.
July.
So
So,
basically midsummer.
hmm
And for the people who are really interested in art, who are really interested in supporting the local artists,
sure.
first of all, where can they track this information? Do you guys have a website or social
Yes,
media
yes,
pages?
we do.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a presence on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
Lone Star Art
Mm-hmm.
District. Uh, that's for the district. We have our own uh, Facebook page,
Mm-hmm.
Lone Star Art Space. All of the artists
Mm-hmm.
here have their own Facebook page. I also have an Instagram page as
Amazing.
well.
So, was there anything special that you were able to create during this pandemic?
Absolutely. I do fine art photography now. I'm not really relying on having people come in
Mm-hmm.
uh, to have their pictures made or anything like that. So what I've been doing is a lot of alternative processes in photography.
Mm-hmm. So you were
Uh,
experimenting.
yes,
That's
yes,
amazing.
and it really is because it's
Mm-hmm.
shown me things that I had forgotten about,
Mm-hmm.
things that I used to do when I was a teenager, just starting in photography,
Mm-hmm.
alternative
Mm-hmm.
processes that I hadn't looked at in,
So
30,
basically,
40 years.
it's like giving something old a new life.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right, and I'm totally enjoying that.
That's amazing to hear, and I cannot wait to see what art came out of it. I've seen your photography; it's very raw, to my opinion. It
Oh,
speaks for
nice.
itself, and it shows the
Thank you.
world for what it is. And I think it has something to do with your curiosity that you had when you worked for the newspapers and the
That has
magazines.
not gone away.
It's definitely made an impact on your art, but
Yeah.
it's extremely beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Last question that I wanted to ask you for you as an artist, as a creative person, what you did as far as experimenting, did it help you overcome those hurdles, those hard situations, maybe some mental stress, maybe some anxiety? Did it help you?
Fortunately, I was not personally, I didn't have
Mm-hmm.
a great deal of fear
Mm-hmm.
for the corona, which I don't know what that says about me. But it did give me a lot of time to think, um, a lot of opportunities to visit with friends.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I personally don't know anybody that has been, uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, fallen sick with
Mm-hmm.
this.
Affected. Mm-hmm.
Right. Uh, so I'm
But what
quite.
about your perspective? Do you think it shifted your perspective on life, on what you do as a creator?
Well,
And how? What can you say about it?
okay. So here's the thing. I'm in my 60s, so now I kind of have to be really careful, where I go, the people that I'm
Mm-hmm.
around. Um, I definitely don't want to. I don't want to get sick, and I'm excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
I do wear masks. I do that whenever I'm out and about at the grocery store,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, things like that. But you
I think
know,
it's our social
it
responsibility in a
is.
way
It is. Yes.
to think not only about ourselves but the people around us.
Hmm.
And I think the whole coronavirus outbreak, what it taught us is to be mindful about the other
Yeah.
people.
I think everybody, before this happened, people were just going about their lives like nothing,
Hmm.
and I think it really has made people
Look
more.
deeper. Hmm.
Yes.
It gave
Yeah,
depth,
exactly. And
absolutely.
and 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 now they're looking outside of themselves, uh, to other people around
Hmm.
them, to, hopefully they would, want to be concerned about someone's well-being.
Hmm.
But I think human nature, I think really they're just doing it for themselves.
Hmm.
But that also benefits because if they're looking out for themselves, they're also looking out for somebody else
Hmm.
without even them
Hmm.
realizing it.
Hmm.
But
It makes us better. I feel the hard times just like this one. It really unites us.
mhm,
It makes us stop and really judge the situation that happens in reality. And in every bad situation, as bad as the corona outbreak is, there is something good. There is something that defines our future
mhm,
and helps us in the long run. It's been an absolute pleasure talking
for
with
me as
you.
well.
And thank you so much for having us as your guest today. This is really special for us. And we're hoping to see you soon in the
Great.
next season of Random Format.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Katya.
Thank you, Antonia.